Recording.
Okay. This is Pauper to the People. With me this week is Chris
Hello.
and Mr. Dan.
Tjena!
Uh, Peter won't be joining us this week. He has not feeling good. I'm willing to bet it has something to do with being up super late all weekend at con.
No, I totally passed it to him via Skype last week when I wasn't on.
Yeah. No, it was pretty. This kind of leads into our. But yeah, we'll take care of news later. But talk about that later. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. Whole weekend of just nonstop gaming and stuff. But what have you been up to, Dan?
What have I been up to? I've been playing a lot of M14 during the Born of the Gods pre-release.
Yeah.
Been playing some Modern, some Pauper,
It's cool.
but mostly M14.
Yeah. You tried a few decks out that I see here.
Are you trying to revisit
yes.
M14, Dan? Like, what is your reason for coming back to
Now,
M14?
I had a lot of fun playing M13, and it started about this time of the year because now nobody really good is playing the core set, and I like core set limited much more than I like the sort of main set. Yeah, just having a lot of fun with the core set.
Yeah. So this doesn't have to do with your 100 videos of M14 or whatever that you promised?
It plays in, absolutely. I promised 100 videos on M14, and we have now delivered 73. So
Nice.
there is some work to be done.
Man,
Yep.
I wish I could pursue it, but I don't know. I'm moving on to Born of the Gods.
Right now, the value is there, absolutely. The worth of a pack of the cards in a pack of M13 is quite a lot higher than a pack of Theros.
Yeah. Did you try it? I noticed here you froze from last week. You you tried playing a few decks that we had on a few episodes ago.
Yes. So remind me what the decks were. I've been playing about
Deck, the Simic Cipher.
Yes, I played that. Lost badly, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Which one was the other?
Did you try the Zoo deck?
Yes, I did. Yes.
What?
And I think there I should have... I'm going to try that more because it seemed that it had a lot of potential, but what I expected to happen when I played it was that, okay, now I play from the top of my deck because my opponent managed to deal with all my stuff.
Yeah.
And I have no card draw, and that's exactly what happened. So
I actually...
Also been testing...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, keep going.
Go ahead.
Oh.
No, I tested, and a lot of other guys tested the Shaffa Waffa Exhume Control deck, which is a ton of fun. I've been playing Rugtron. I've been playing Chris Delver deck. And I've been playing the Iset Control List.
How they working for you?
I haven't lost yet with the Iset Control List.
That's good.
And both Tron and Delver are performing a lot better than I've played a lot of Pauper decks, and I keep maybe too extensive statistics, and both Tron and Chris's Delver list are exceptional.
Yeah.
I have a really high win percentage.
That's cool. Well, there you go, Chris. That's awesome.
So great decks.
Yeah.
Trending.
So, obviously, I've been playing a lot of Delver, as you guys can tell by the results.
Yeah.
I tweaked the list to try and beat the blue-red control deck. It no longer feels unwinnable because I put Stormbound Geists in, one in the main and two in the side. And in the main board, I just got Frostburn weird because I found I was like siding Frostburn weird out in every single matchup. Like even matchups where you'd think he was good, I was siding him out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what is this guy actually doing for me? He's not doing anything. So I'll just take him out and put in Stormbound Geist.
Yeah.
And then out of the sideboard, I took out Deprive and Dispel, which were two cards that I brought in against removal heavy decks anyway. So I just took those out and replaced those with Stormbound Geist in my main deck. So the Stormbound Geists are awesome. They just do so much for the deck that provide it with the extra resiliency against removal-heavy decks. It's also awesome against. There was a few Delver lists running around before that run 4 serrated arrows out of the board, and Stormbound Geist really just negates serrated arrows altogether.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Stormbound Geist took the spot of that. Made it where it was really good against opposing serrated arrows.
That's cool.
So that's what I've been doing with that deck. See, the last 3 Premier Event outings I've had were the most recent one I did was Sunday. I made top 4. I got eliminated. I beat Blue-Red Control in round 1 of the top 8. I went 5-1 in the Swiss. Then I beat Blue-Red Control in round 1 of the top 8, and then got paired against it in round 2 as well. And I lost that time in round 2 of the top 8. But then the 2 previous times, the 2 prior times to that, I made top 2 and decided to split with not like unfavorable matchups, but like the 50-50 matchups.
Yeah.
One of them was some old guy who was usually piloting teachings. I think he was that day too when I split with him.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I mean, like I'm about 50-50 versus him in competitive play, so it could have gone either way. I was like, let's just split. So split with him, and the outing before that, I made it to the top 2 against Mezel.
Yeah.
Who is he's been playing Delver for many more years than I have. And while I feel pretty confident in my mirror match now, I just still it's like, well, if you're gonna, might as well just split, right? Yeah. He's clearly a better player than me, and so I'll split with him. He's been doing this far longer than I have, and as confident as I am, he does have a very interesting way to play Delver that, he's very hard to beat.
Yeah.
Consistently. So, there you go. That's what I've been doing with Pauper. I finally, against your advice, Dan, I bought Mutavault so I could play Standard.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I bought Mutavaults.
Alright. They're fun.
Yeah, I picked up Mono Black Devotion with the Mutavaults, and just played a Standard Daily with it today, and 3-1 the Standard Daily.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that pays for like 2/3 of a Mutavault. So now I just need to do that like 6 more times. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And you have to do it before Mutavaults starts dropping in price.
I'm not a Standard guru or anything, but I don't really think that Mutavaults tank in price until rotation. And even then, I don't think they really tank because modern. They're still played in modern.
Yeah, Mutavault.
Everything tanks rotation.
Yeah, I don't think. Sorry.
I'll bet you that Mutavaults are less than 6 tickets in November.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing was, Mutavaults before they were printed in M14. What was their price? I mean, they were.
It was about 14 to 20.
14 to 20. Yeah.
But the supply is enormous now compared to what it was.
Yeah, but my counter argument to that is that Modern is actually picking up a lot in popularity, especially online. And you're starting to see a lot of these decks.
It's still not.
No, it's obviously
still a
nowhere
really
near
small
Standard.
factor. Yeah. Look at what happened to Liliana at rotation.
She tanked a little bit, and then
she
she
lost
spiked
a third of
way
value.
back. Then she spiked way back up.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying the price. I think Mutavaults will be worth a lot in like 2 or 3 years, but they will be for a rotation.
Yeah. But either way, I think you kind of need Mutavaults to play Standard right now. And until some deck comes out there and really hates out mono blue or mono black, and even blue white control plays like 3 Mutavaults. So I think you really just need Mutavaults to play. You just need Mutavaults to play Standard. And it's like, you know what? If I'm gonna delve into this, and I think there's a Mox coming up pretty soon in the Standard, for season 12 or something like that. So I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to buy the Mono Black Devotion deck, and when that Mox comes up, I'll play Mono Black Devotion for the Mox, and start to really learn the deck and play it a lot. I know I'm like really far behind the curve by like 4 months, but I feel like I can catch up and do that.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a super powerful deck for standard.
Yeah, it's insane. And they just got a whole lot more fuel too with Drown in Sorrow and Bile printed. But hey, we're a Pauper podcast, and
Yeah.
we're going to talk about Pauper.
I wanted to mention something. Did you play any block, Chris, lately?
No,
or have
no.
you stopped that entirely?
Yeah, the block daily events just aren't firing anymore. I guess people just got such a bad taste of the format that just nobody's joining the block events anymore. And they're not.
Yeah, I looked at the Goldfish metagame report, and they said that 88% of the metagame is Naya monsters.
Yeah, and I actually don't think that
88%.
Yeah, I don't think that any block dailies have fired since Born of the Gods was printed.
Wow.
It looks like well, no. The thing is, I think people just are not joining it anymore because it's just like, no, I'm not going to play this stupid format because what's going to happen is people are going to play monsters. So the last Theros block daily that was printed on Mothership was printed on Valentine's Day, and it had 7 results. So
That's it?
Well, I mean, that's pretty standard, right? Assuming that it fired with close to minimum people, 20 or so people. Then in the 7 results, it looks like they're all just Naya again, which isn't surprising by any stretch of the imagination, because the Friday was the first day that you could have Born of the Gods. But I just find it really interesting that you have a lot of potential for brewing in the format now with a brand new set coming out, and just nobody wants to do it.
I think as a whole, a lot of people are just fed up with Theros, sick of it almost already, the block in general. Because
I don't know.
It doesn't. I mean, it has some new card interactions, but what I'm hearing from a lot of the longtime gamers like myself, I've been playing Magic since 94 or 95, 96. A lot of them are viewing. A lot of people are starting to categorize Theros and Kamigawa almost in the same category.
Well, I don't think Theros' sales are...
Well, no, not sales.
It's the most successful Magic set ever.
Because Kamigawa sold really good too. But I think it just in general, people are just the feel of the set is the same as Kamigawa almost.
Yeah.
It's just because Kamigawa. It's a Wizards product. It was Magic. It sold really good. There's lots of Kamigawa sales. But as a whole, if you look at flavor of the set, it wasn't that interesting, kind of from a sense. I mean, it introduced ninjutsu, stuff like that, and they did the same thing with Theros, where they introduced some really cool mechanics. But a lot of people are starting to view the flavor of the set itself a lot like Kamigawa, and a lot of older players like myself, they don't like that because we hated Kamigawa as a set, not money wise, but as a set. So
I think just the Theros block left such a bad taste in everybody's mouth with the Naya monsters completely dominating the metagame that I don't think anybody is just willing to jump back in yet. And I don't know what it's going to take for the Theros block dailies to fire, but I know there's a guy who writes for Pure MTGO who's got to be like, well, what do I do now? my block events just aren't firing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does he write about then? I don't know.
Probably jump the standard.
Yeah. Well, that's not his thing. It's the guy is named Psychobabble, and he does around the block for Pure MTGO.
Yeah.
And that's all he does. He's written something like 80 some odd articles, a weekly article. So that's his series is around the block, and now his block events aren't firing.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that changes after.
What did he write about the last few weeks?
He basically wrote about praying about how hopefully Born of the Gods would get rid of the monsters deck. Or at least make it somewhat comparable, And I talked with a bunch of people before Born of the Gods came out too, brewing with them, hey, what are we going to do with these cards that come with Born of the Gods? And all these chats with people that I had about where to go and what to do. with Born of the Gods release are kind of moot because the events are, they're filling up less than 10 people.
Yeah.
Less than 10 people are even joining the event, man. Like, that's the sign of a dead format, is like when you can't even get a daily event to fire. It's like, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how they fix that.
I talked to Greystone yesterday, and he mentioned a blue-red deck that beat monsters that he was testing.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
It is, yeah. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe he discovered a trick that worked, right? But from what I saw, like, you can't have... Theros Block just didn't have enough answers for the blue-red monster stack. You could minus wins, but your percentage was not going to be greater than 50 against monsters. Like, I think they say greater than 60% of a format of a deck dominating the metagame is the sign of a solved format. And, like you said, Naya Monsters has 87%.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's clearly the only deck.
If you look at solely the Theros set itself without Born of the Gods, the removal was really bad. The removal wasn't so great.
There's no removal. There's Hero's Downfall is the only thing that you can have deal with Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
And then Hero's Downfall is just really, it's stretched thin on, in Theros, in Mono Theros block constructed. And a lot of people are hoping that with Born of the Gods being printed, that Black got a couple more removal spells. So maybe you have a Black control deck that sort of balances out the Naya Monsters deck, but and we haven't had a single daily event to test that theory.
Yeah.
But at some point it's like, who's gonna try and jump in? Because I'll tell you right now, if I would jump into a Theros Block daily, I'm just gonna take Naya again. I'm not even gonna bother trying to test anything else, because Naya is one of those the problem deck. And it's like, you have to answer me, and then if you answer me successfully, then you still have to win through my defenses.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the deck that I'm going to take.
When a deck reaches 25% in Pauper, we start crying about bans. And this deck has 88%.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't banned anything, actually.
Well, I think they were just hoping that... I think they were just hoping that Born of the Gods did something to fix it. And... they probably would have, right? If this format was solved in before December, then they probably would have moved towards banning something.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it happens... Naya started to really take over that format towards the end of December and early January. And then they're like, you know what, screw it. Born of the Gods is coming out in a month. So why ban anything?
And it's just starting to reinforce what I've been seeing with Born of the Gods. Like, before, when the set came out, they released the whole set online. I had a whole bunch of my friends were just like, a bunch of my friends were really excited about going to the pre-release. Like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. But like, me and like one other person, my friend Garrett, were like, no, we're just gonna wait and buy singles. We're not gonna waste money buying packs on this, because there's like maybe 7 cards in the set that are worth even considering owning, and I couldn't justify dropping money on a bunch of booster packs just to get those 7 cards. It's like, screw it, I'll just buy them.
Have you played any Born of the Gods Limited?
Yeah, I did try Born of the Gods Limited at Con of the North, and I was not impressed. When I did the limited, it just reinforced everything I thought it would be. Just really, really didn't like it at all.
I think it adds a new dynamic to Theros, Theros Limited. Because Born of the Gods cards are really interesting to play with in Limited, I think.
No, I wasn't too overly impressed with it. I was like, nah. I think I just wasted my time. I could have done something else at the con.
Well, I guess you can have that too. I don't know. I played. Maybe I'm kind of biased because I just did some release events on Magic Online, and I got Aphora, God of the Polis, which is the blue-white god.
Yeah.
And man, I drew so many cards off of that god that it was absurd.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of fun there with that. What else did I also cracked Master of Waves, which was pretty awesome. I didn't get to play it, but Master of Waves and like Hero of Iroas, where I drew because of Hero of Iroas, I had a whole bunch of Nihilist Presences in my deck. Hero of Iroas is the one that's 2/2 heroic creatures that your auras cost 1 less to cast. And so I had a whole bunch of Nihilist Presences, so I just chained Nihilist Presence. I drew like 5 cards in a turn off of Nihilist Presences.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with the limited environment, and I'll probably be doing a few more of those.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Okay, now we talked about every other format but modern.
But modern.
So I just want to mention that the bannings in modern seem to have created a super healthy metagame right now. So
Yes, it has. The banning's done an amazing job.
Wide open. Yeah. So I'm having. It will be interesting to see the Pro Tour this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, is that this weekend? How's Zoo doing? I figured Zoo would make a huge appearance.
It's number 13 on Goldfish right now.
That's pathetic.
So, but it is doing stuff in the dailies, and I think Zoo is a lot more successful than Fair is actually.
It probably needs a few more tournaments to get back up there.
Yeah, because there are cattles being played a lot.
Yeah. When I was at con, we ended up having a lot of level up games, being that the Magic coordinator, there was no Magic at con. Magic players still showed up and demanded it, so level up games are starting to try to find room and do some impromptu Magic events, which they did go down. And that's what what the big hype was in the Magic community was a lot of talk about Modern and a lot of talk about Pauper. In the local area here in Minnesota, you're starting to see a lot of Magic shops starting to put up paper Pauper events, and it's actually now starting to take fire and become a thing.
That's cool. Unfortunately,
Fantastic.
But unfortunately, Pauper's it's never going to be sanctioned by Magic, right? Or by Wizards, right? They're never going to give it prize support. I do appreciate that people are doing paper Magic events, though. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and as a large some of them because I talked to a bunch of them while I was at con, and it was basically they're like, yeah, a lot of them are, but the thing is the catch is a lot of the stores are actually following the online rules. They aren't allowing in the Hem to Turoks and stuff, which makes for a metagame that's playing on the same almost on the same level as online, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I mean, that was really really cool to hear, and that there's what was it? I think it was Saturday was when me and Peter we'll wear our Pauper to People shirts that day. Got to talk to a few of the players, and all of a sudden a whole bunch wanted to come up and start talking about Pauper. So
that's cool. Pretty
cool conversations going on. But yes, and that and the Modern was the other big thing that people were talking about, how it enabled Zoo back and Fairies is coming back, because in paper too, Fairy a key card Vendilion Click used to be at $50. As soon as the bannings came up, Vendilions jumped $10 and now they're $60 a piece. So
and they're almost there online. They've gone from 27 to 50 online.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna see Fairies come back. We're gonna see Zoo. We're gonna see probably people trying to pull off Living End, being now that its biggest enemy is gone. So
yeah, I think Living End is pretty sweet. But yeah, Fairies is...
Then they will learn that Jund is playing for Scavenging Ooze now.
Yeah.
Instead of Death Right Jump.
Yeah.
Sorry, Living End.
Jund isn't nearly as strong, though. It doesn't have the same reach that it did with Death Right Shaman, right? Hell, it's gone from being...
Jund will recover.
It's gone from being the clear 20% of the metagame to 5%.
Yeah.
So it obviously took a big hit there with a lack of Death Right Shaman.
Yeah, when I was talking this weekend at Con when they wanted to talk about Modern, I was just basically it's like, well, I think what Wizards realized when they went through this bannings, the first thing they banned was the braid, braids.
Bloodbraid Elf, yeah.
Yeah, Bloodbraid Elf, because it's like, yeah, it's just ridiculous and Jund. Well, all the Jund players did was take their death rights out of the sideboard and throw them into the main board, and then it created an even bigger threat, which killed a few decks. And when Wizards looked at that, they're like, well, we need something to combat Jund, which that's what the bannings were for. And you got Zoo. I've seen the Zoo Jund matchups, and Zoo can actually go against Jund and actually do something, because when I've seen Jund play out, they can remove stuff, but if the creatures are dropping too fast, Jund has a problem with that. They can't deal with the fast drop creatures.
Especially when Liliana actually comes down on turn 3 instead of turn 2.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for them, and it's the same thing with fairies. Well, with Bitter Blossom, after fairies disappeared, after Bitter Blossom disappeared, fairies can answer Jund too, because they can play the key and counter spells. I mean, so I think the bannings were actually really good, and it made a healthier metagame for Modern. Instead of having,
it's telling that the number one deck has 11% of the metagame. And that's a healthy format.
Yeah.
It's affinity.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Good old affinity.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you still have the price of entry into Modern. That's bad.
Yes.
I say that, and I have a standard deck now, so...
Yeah, at least you get to keep the money if you buy a Modern deck.
Yeah,
your
my
money
standard
doesn't
deck.
rotate out.
That is true. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be on the lookout for what kind of a Modern deck I want to play. The problem is I want to play... Like, the Modern deck that I want to play is $500. So...
What do you want to play?
Blue-white, red control. I think that's what I want to play.
550 right now.
I think that's what I want to play.
You want to play with
not a
red,
big
white,
combo.
blue?
Yeah, I'm not a big combo player, and I think Merfolk is just not strong enough in this. Yeah, a lot of people are obviously very successful with Merfolk, but
Yeah.
I think it's just not strong enough. It is pretty bad against spot removal.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. I don't know. I've never played Modern, so if you've played Modern and want to one up me or talk to me about some Modern and what I should play for Modern, whatever, it's cool. Come talk to me. I'm kind of curious. I want to delve into as many different formats as I can. I'm trying to expand my horizons away from Pauper. Well, not I still love playing Pauper, obviously.
Yeah. That's cool.
Speaking of Pauper.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah.
We finally going to start talking about Pauper now? We're like 30 minutes into the podcast. We're talking about Pauper now.
Yeah. We do have some metagame results posted here. We got MPDC Worlds. This event had a lot of white weenie in it.
Yeah.
Our first place deck was Mono Black Control. Our second place deck was White Weenie. We had a T4 Hexproof deck, a T4 White Weenie deck, a T8 Mono White, another T8 Mono White. And then down here we had a deck that was sort of mono white, but it was running some extort. Had a black-white extort deck. So
cool.
Extort.
I love this black-white. I love this black-white deck. This extort deck. It's pretty awesome. That's my opinion. Anyway.
That was what I was playing when I played Standard Pauper seriously last time. Very close to my deck.
Yeah, extort is still pretty oppressive if it can go off properly. Because it really doesn't matter what you do, you're still hurting your opponent.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had that result. And then we have a premier event here that has a Stompy deck in first place.
Yeah.
So Stompy made it all the way to the top in this premier event. Thiago AM.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you ever happen to play this guy at all? Ever?
No, I have not. Well, I mean, maybe I did back when we had dailies, but
Yeah.
I don't recall. I haven't played him in a premier event since he's
Okay.
been on this list. I haven't seen the name though. He seems like he's a pretty well-versed player.
Yeah.
And Stompy is a very good metagame choice. I think we said that a few
Yeah.
episodes back, where Stompy was a really cool choice, really good choice because it beats Delver and it beats the blue-red control deck. So
Yeah. One of the key things I'm seeing in his deck, why I'm guessing why he did so well, is he is mainboarding Riverboa to basically just get by blue.
Riverboat and Scattershot Archer.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
yeah, he's really just sticking with blue players.
Yep. No, it's totally the right choice, right? Scattershot Archer is not like the most impressive turn one play against control decks, but you know it still can enable bloodthirst for your Scarging Pit Skulks, and
Yeah.
it wears a Rancor, you know, so
Yeah.
you can't really argue with scatter shots. And you know, like Delver has a really tough time beating a turn one scatter shot, especially pre-board. You know, pre-board Delver's not going to beat a turn one scatter shot Archer. So
Yeah.
it does. You do have that going for you.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say not going to beat. We still have snaps and stuff, but it's going to be very hard to beat a turn one scatter shot Archer
Yeah.
pre-board.
And apparently, if you we look at his sideboard here, he really, really is hating out, really hating out that affinity for Gleeful Sabotages.
Yeah.
A fourth Thermokarst.
I don't know that Gleeful Sabotage, like 4 Gleeful Sabotage. If I'm playing Stompy, I'm not bringing in 4 Gleeful Sabotage against Affinity.
Yeah.
It's too much of a
beat him.
it's too much of a do nothing card
Yeah.
against Affinity.
But
It's fine to like bring in 2, maybe 3, but sometimes it's just gonna get strained in your hand. I actually think Gleeful Sabotage is more Delver hate.
yeah.
To kill Spire Golems and straight arrows.
Yeah. But yeah, multi-use card right there. And then we got the Hornet Sting, which there's 4 of. Which that's really good against the. I guess I've played that against the Delver before it's gonna flip.
Yeah.
It also seems very reactive to Delver.
Yeah, I don't like Hornet Stings if I'm playing Stompy, because if you're playing Stompy, you want to be the problem deck, and like you want to be less of a control deck. Like Stompy can take a control route, but it's not very strong as a control route because Hornet Stings.
Hornet Sting was great against Infect.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's good against like some kind of weenie strategy like that, but I don't think I bring in Hornet Stings against Delver.
Yeah.
Personally.
Basically, all you really want to do with Stompy anyway is just drop and swing anyway.
Yeah, I think I want to be the problem.
What's up with the Thermokarst?
Tron's actually pretty rough for Stompy.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh,
Yep.
okay. Fangor Marauder is pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah. Fangor Marauder is really bad, and if they get the Fangor Marauder out, you're pretty well screwed. So your best bet, one of your decent bets is to Thermokarst their Tron pieces and turn them off of Tron. Because not only does the Fangor Marauder really hurt, but a big Rolling Thunder wipes your board. So
Yeah.
you want to keep them off. You want to keep them off of big mana as long as possible.
Yeah. Because Thermokarst constantly keeps them in a setup mode so you can get through.
Yeah. That being said, I still don't actually like it, but
Yeah.
I haven't played Stompy in a while. Maybe that's the right choice for Tron to beat Tron. But the last time I played Stompy, I just killed Tron on turn 4.
Yeah, just ran through.
I did that. I did Stompy for a Pure MTGO article on 2 weeks ago, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And I turned 4'd him, and then I turned 5'd him. I was like, all right, well that wasn't very hard.
Yeah. Now let's see what we got in the rest of this premier event. We got some old guy with his his control deck.
He's playing mono blue
Oh,
control. Very interesting take on it.
At this time he's playing mono blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's mono blue. He does switch it up. He's always playing control deck, but this one's mono blue, which is
He's drawing a lot of cards with that deck.
yeah.
Apparently,
4 accumulated knowledge, 4 exclude, 3 Uno's Grace are his card draw.
Apparently, he likes making
And 2 model.
Yeah, 2 model
the mixture to get more accumulated.
Yeah.
Because when in trouble, draw more cards. Remember that.
Yeah, well, that's how Delver works.
And then we got here Perks deck. It looks like this is looking like just Delver Blue.
Yep, standard Delver list.
Yep, and the Z with blue-red control.
Yep. I should also mention that I highlighted this list in my Pure article this week.
Yeah.
Yep. List is sweet. It's very, very good.
Looks like it's pretty well-rounded.
We'll talk about that a little bit, too.
Okay. And we got Surakuku with Affinity.
No.
No, it's sorry, my bad. Delver Fiend. Like Delver Fiend or it's either Delver Fiend. Some people call it eye candy, whatever.
It's Delver Fiend.
Yeah, Delver
What do you
Fiend.
call it, Delver Fiend?
And then we got Johan 80 with what looks like blue-red control.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Matukata
Yeah.
within our Delver Fiend deck. And then, of course, the XMX. He always runs this list.
Yeah. Delver.
Yeah, Delver.
His usual Delver list.
The usual.
Yep.
So, nothing really. It's pretty much Shuffle Wuffa was down here a little bit with his
Exhume Control.
Yep, his Exhume Control. But that's all I really saw out of this one.
Yeah.
I think it was really cool that he's played it in so many premiere events. I thought he was trolling the premiere event first. But he's actually winning with it.
Yeah, he does fine with it. I think he's a better control player than most people. I think if he played like a mainstream control deck, he'd probably take down an event.
Yeah.
But he likes playing his own brews, so.
Yeah, he just likes being different.
Yeah.
So.
And he could still be trolling people.
Respect to David.
And I suppose it lies to the point if you play anything enough, just all the time, you get good with it because you know how to play it because you played it enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I did want to point out one of the things I saw him. I was watching him stream, and one of the cool things he does with this deck is he plays like, he'll go on the draw. If he's on the draw, he'll play like an island, and then he'll play a turn 2 Dimir Aqueduct, which makes him have 8 cards in hand, and then he discards Ulamog's Crusher and zooms it next turn. So
that's just mean.
Yeah, it's one of the ways that I never thought. Yeah, one of the ways I never thought of that you could get Crusher in the graveyard was just by having too many cards in your hand. But you don't want to miss your land drops, right? So the Aqueduct makes it where you're not missing your land drop, but then at the same time you get to discard still. So
yeah, so
I just thought that was really awesome.
It's pretty ingenious.
Yeah,
but you need someone thinking outside the box.
Yep.
And then what do we got in this other one? This is yours. Oh, well, you can go over this one. You got second place in this one.
Yeah. So, let's go to the top 8. The top 8 was pretty uneventful for me. I played against Chikoso FDK, who was playing Familiars. Beat him in round 1 of the top 8. He was, I think one game. I can't remember whether we went 2-1. Does it say on here? Yeah, I went 2-1. One game. I think it was the first game. I just did like the standard Delver nut draw on him. The second game, he did the standard familiar Esper nut draw on me. And then in the third game, he mulliganed to 6, and he kept a hand that didn't have any non-blue mana. So I think he got stuck with too much stuff in his hand, or too much like familiars, or maybe some sideboard cards like Lone Missionaries or something stuck in his hand. I'm not entirely sure, but he got to 4 mana, and he just couldn't do anything because I just counterspelled whatever he tried to do, like invoking Mole Drifters and casting Force C or whatever. I just spell stuttered it or did something to counter it and just beat him down in the third game there. So then it came up against in the semifinals TKC 55, who was playing Familiars again. And I think that was much more one-sided, if I recall right. I don't know. It was another 2-1. I I can't honestly can't remember that game. I think it was just standard fare where he just killed him with the usual way. And then we then we split with some old guy. You know, he won the die roll, so I was like, yep, I'll take the loss, and split it up with him. He was playing Teachings.
Yeah.
Which, like I said before, it's a pretty even matchup, I think. He has a lot of card advantage, so if he can make it past turn 5 or 6 or so, then he's probably got me beat. But, say if he can make it past that amount, or that turn with greater than 10 life, then he's probably got me beat.
Yeah.
But, other than that, I can still, beat him pretty handily now, especially with his deck, where he's relying on a lot of removal to spot, to 1-for-1 me out. But, I've got the Stormbound Geist now, so I can beat his 1-for-1 plan, because Stormbound Geists are 2 creatures.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I think it would have been close, and we probably would have gone 2-1, whatever the outcome was. So yeah, there we go. And the rest of the top 8, we have Delver, piloted by Sika Isen, and he's running a very greedy list, 15 islands.
4 days.
Yeah, 15 islands, 4 days, 4/4 spikes.
Wow.
He seems to be fairly consistent with it, though. He places pretty frequently, so I don't know. It seems to be working for him.
Tempoing other Delver decks. That must be his
Yeah.
plan, like playing a little faster than any other Delver decks.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the Spire Golem backup plan. So.
Yeah.
Yep. We already talked about TKC, who's playing Familiars. We have Vagar, who's playing Affinity. This is a pretty standard Perilous Affinity list. Yep. Pretty standard Perilous Affinity list. He's running Auric Sunchaser, so 4 of. Probably just to combat Delver, if I had to guess.
Yep.
Then we have Sick Draw, quote unquote. He's also playing Affinity. He was in 6th place. I played against him in the Swiss. He's a very interesting text. Pirate Spellbombs. This is the guy who I think delivered my loss to me in the Swiss, was Sick Draw. Pirate Spellbombs are just a beating for me as a Delver player, because he gets to up his Affinity count, and then I can't play a Delver or a Spellstutter into this Pirate Spellbomb, because he'll just crack it and kill my Delver or Spellstutter.
Yeah.
So this is a sweet tech. I love Pirate Spellbombs in this list.
Is it better than Perilous Research that he's not running?
I don't know, honestly.
Maybe against Delver it is.
Yeah, it probably is. He's not running any Perilous Research. This sort of does kind of sort of double up as a Perilous Research, because he can just, against decks where it's not good, he can just sack it and draw a card. It's not quite a Perilous Research, obviously, but I don't know. I think it does okay.
I think it'd be really
Double
cool.
spring cleaning in the sideboard.
Yeah. That's funny.
I think this would be really cool to see this deck versus Perilous head-to-head.
Yeah, I think Disciple of Vault actually gives this Affinity deck an edge against the other Affinity deck. All the Disciple of the Vaults?
Yeah. That's a problem.
Yep. Yeah. So, hey, there you go. There's your answer to that. That's how you beat the mirrors, play Disciple of the Vaults, which most of the other Affinity decks are not running right now.
Yeah.
So then we also already talked about Chikoso, FDK, who was running Familiars, and then we have a Mono Blue control list, piloted by Straka 3. This is a pretty standard Mono Blue control list. Although he's not running Accumulated Knowledge, which makes me sad, but, well, he made it to the top 8 with it, so can't complain too much.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So there we go. Anything else of interest in the top 16 here? I don't think so. Well, we have a Goblins list. It's pretty sweet. He's running Intimidator Initiates.
Uh,
Yeah, he's Intimidator Initiates, a 1/1 Goblin for red. Goblin Shaman. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you may pay 1. If you do, target creature can't block this turn.
It is a 1-drop. Yes.
Yeah, it's a 1-drop Goblin, and you get to falter some things.
That's cool.
Pretty nice.
I still don't like Sparksmith.
You're crazy. Sparksmith is awesome.
I don't like it.
it's game against Delver.
Ugh.
It is. A Resolve Sparksmith just beats Delver. Straight up.
Oh, a ninja. Okay, he dies. A Delver,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
dies. Spygol, he dies.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
You're still risking a lot, though, because you're hurting yourself in the process.
That's
Yeah, but you are
goblins.
dealing out more damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks in the mirror, though.
Yeah, it does. Well, it doesn't necessarily suck. Just be careful with it. With how many
Very
times you
careful.
activate it.
We have a sliver deck.
Slivers? That's still a thing? Yeah, it's still a thing. Yeah, pretty standard slivers list.
Yeah.
Although, why do they keep playing Ranger's Guile? Oh my god, play Vines of Vastwood.
Yeah,
Please
really.
just play Vines of Vastwood.
It's not illegal. You can use it in this format.
Just play Vines.
why-
It's better in every situation I can think of.
No, if you have, if you want both the plus and the untargetability, you only have 1 mana. Then Ranger's Guile is a little better, isn't it?
Okay.
You need.
Every relevant situation I can think of.
Yep. We have one more premiere event.
Oh man, we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it linked on the- is it linked on the show
Bird
notes?
took down.
Oh yeah,
No, it's not.
I played in this one.
Yeah, you got like top 4.
I was fourth. Yeah, fourth or something like that. Burn took it down. That was so funny. You know what's funny too? What's even funnier than that is that not only did Burn take it down, Burn actually beat Delver in the semifinals to take it down.
Yeah, and it beat Perks, who is a very good Delver player.
Yeah. No, he did not just beat Delver. He beat Mono Blue Control in the quarterfinals to come up against Delver in the semifinals to beat Blue Red Control in the finals. So shout out to this guy. This guy is amazing. He's got to be an amazing Burn player, amazingly lucky to do that. Wow. So yeah, shout out to him. His Burn list is pretty much all in on the Burn plan. He's got no backup plan at all to speak of.
Yeah, no creatures except Marauders.
Yeah, which actually I think is the right call with people playing excludes.
Yep.
You know, so many excludes in the metagame right now. So his list is very all in. It's just 4 of all the good burn spells, and then he's got 1 Curse of the Pierced Heart, 1 Incinerate, and 2 Shard Volleys.
Wow.
Yep.
4 Flame Rift is pretty unusual.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? I haven't played Burn really, so.
It could be the right metagame call right now. For some reason. You see very little life gain in the meta right now.
Yeah.
It's just a Saurius kitty pretty much.
Which
That gains life.
Yeah, now that David's not playing it, nobody's playing it. Now that David's playing Zoom Control, nobody's playing Azorius City.
So, this would be madness against Stompy or like really aggressive decks.
No, I don't think so though, because Burn has the 4-turn clock.
You end up
it's
stuck
just
with Flame Rift a lot of the time. I
Yeah.
played 1 Flame Rift for a while, and it was often useless.
Yeah.
But when you're racing, you don't want to give away 4 points of damage.
Okay.
But he's not racing; he's playing in control decks. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's probably the right choice.
But I hate the needle drops in a Delver heavy meta. You get stuck with the needle drops.
Yeah, they can be a pretty big problem, but yeah, well, it obviously
Well,
worked
you
for him.
spell stutter my Searing Blaze, and then I'm stuck with needle drop.
Yeah. Well, I assume you side out needle drops against Delver.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I assume you side out needle drops and flame rifts maybe against Delver, because you're probably going to race Delver. That's how you're going to beat him.
Yep.
So, all right. So Burn took down first place. Second place I talked about a little bit already, who's Blue Red Control, followed by N1N. And
He beat you.
yeah, he beat me. He's got I saw so many sideboard cards out of him though. It was absurd how many in the games that the post sideboard game he brought in Shattering Pulse. I saw all 4 Pyroblasts against me. I saw a Deep Analysis, and I think 2 Annuls and a Dispel. So like all of the sideboard cards he brought in, I just saw them all, and the matchup's already pretty rough even without sideboard, and after sideboard it's just it's almost unwinnable. You have to hope for a really good draw against them to really win. But yeah, he beat me pretty handily 2-0. Then you got my list, same list as I was running before. Then we got Perks, which is interesting because he was running Stompy a while back. One or two of these premier events ago, but then he made the switch over to Delver. Can't say that I argue with that.
Delver will always be good in this format. I think Delver will always be good in this format until something else comes up that seriously changes the metagame.
I think Delver will just always be good.
Yeah, it's just the card's just so solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
So moving along, we have another affinity list, which is another interesting take on affinity. We have an affinity list that's not running any Carapace Forgers. So this guy said, you know what? You know what's awesome about affinity 4/4s? Nope, just kidding. It's not really that awesome at all. So we're just going to cut these 4/4s.
And play something else.
Play Disciple of the Vaults. So this guy's looking for the pure combo, I imagine. I played against him. I beat him, I think, in round 1 of no. I beat him in the Swiss, I know that, and I was like, what? How did you... What are you doing against me? Because, I was really confused to see Disciple of the Vault post sideboard against me as the Delver player. I'm like, so you left in something that I can Spell Strider? Without even having another Cloud of Fairies or Spell Strider on the table? Okay, he got me with it one game, though, where he had 2 Disciples out, and he resolved an ATOG, and he just killed me on the spot there. So, he got me there. Can't really argue that, but I beat him 2-1. And I think that has to be because of the sideboarding. It's no, you can't do that. The 4/4s are how you beat Delver. I think you really need to leave them 4. You need to have 4/4s in your deck. But hey, you got 5th place, so he did something right.
Yeah.
It looks very geared to beating Control.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be true.
But even against the Izzet deck, Disciple isn't that great, right?
I don't know. I think it actually is. I think it's actually very good against the Izzet deck. Because he gets to... If he resolves, if he resolves a Disciple of the Vault or 2, if he ever resolves an ATOG or, any of his creatures, then when they kill it, they're going to lose a lot of life. I don't know, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I'm not entirely sure. I know there's 2 very distinct possibilities there. Maybe it's good or maybe it's not. So, next we have 6th place is Corrado running Mono Blue Control again. And Barclay here, who's running Teachings. Barclay 212 running Musical Teachings deck. And then Giarola, who... He was playing Blue-Red Control. He beat me in the Swiss, and then I beat him in the top 8. This is the first time, mark my words, this is the first time I've ever beaten the Blue-Red Control deck, is when I beat him just now in the top 8. So, and Giarola, Dan is a really good player.
Yes. Was on affinity for the longest time. Yeah.
But hey, now he's playing Blur Control, which is the standard list, pretty much. Not too much has changed from that. And that's what we have for the premier event.
That's cool.
Pop.
Sorry, I forgot I had to add something to the shoutouts.
Okay.
What else do we have here? We do have some articles. Do we have any more metagame stuff, or?
I think that's it. I'm done talking. You guys can talk the rest of the episode.
No, that's fine. No, it was good. It was good interaction. I figured I wasn't going to break it up. I'm like, I'm just letting them keep going. They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
We had the 2 articles pop up that I found that were interesting. For where Standard Pauper is related. An article on Born of the Gods and what cards really complement the metagame, the cards for Standard Pauper. Namely, in white, one of the big ones that was one of the ones was, let's see here, a Crowan Skyguard. The 2-drop flying heroic, or the 1/1 flyer that every time he casts a spell that targets him, he gets a 1/1 counter. So
Yeah.
that seems pretty decent for what mono for what you want to do in Weenie, because you target it and stuff. And then that's one of the cards. He kind of goes through in depth here a lot of different cards. It's a lot of cards for white. Revoke Existence, of course, which doesn't surprise me that that reprint would become valid again, because I really like this card. Revoke Existence is one of those cards that even it's the free, say, a standard Pauper picture, as well as even in the EDH community, it's really not a bad card when you're going against real problem artifacts when they go to make it indestructible, because it's exiles. So, and for 2 mana, that's pretty good. I mean, right? For 2 mana, exiling something, that's actually not a bad cost.
Yeah.
For an exile. I mean, it could be a heck of a lot more expensive than 2. So, but yeah, and this is a great article. I happened to skim over this one when I was donating plasma today. That one's pretty sweet. And then we have an article, Thoughtcast article. We've highlighted a bunch of these articles because they're really good. Guildgates versus Expanses. Basically, this article, he is weighing Terramorphic Expanses versus Guildgates.
I love the way David breaks down things like this.
Yeah.
And now I hear it myself.
Yeah, I think he does a really good job of it too. I mean, this is a really in-depth article, and he goes into a really good explanation of everything. So it's pretty cool. And talks about Cloud Post a little bit. Old memories.
First rule about Cloud Post: you do not talk about Cloud Post.
Yeah. So, another great article for our listeners to check out. But got any news for finance there, Dan?
Oh yes.
Go for it.
Finance is. I hear a lot of echo right now. Do you hear me echoing?
No,
I do. I hear you echoing. So obviously, if me and Dan are hearing it, then it's Nathan's problem.
Yeah, my headphones aren't working for some reason. Sorry.
Alright. Oh, now we have the echo still. Nate.
I'm working on it. The headphones aren't working for me for some reason.
Echo. Yep, still have an echo. Still have echo. Still have echo. 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 I can say Nate's a douche and it'll echo Nate's a douche, Nate's a douche, Nate's a douche.
Hold on here.
Nate's a douche.
Here we go.
What?
Is there no echo? Well, there's no echo.
Yeah, no echo.
Say something.
Something.
Alright, good. We have no more echo.
Okay, time to talk
but
about
we did
finance.
clearly establish so we did clearly establish that it was Nate's fault. Let the record show.
Finance. For Magic Finance is it's very fun to make speculations and like the upcoming Pro Tour now to call what cards in Modern will be successful in the Pro Tour and what will not. And
bitch.
Finance is not like that. Finance
yeah, my headphones aren't working. I can't hear you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, my headphones aren't working. I can't hear you guys.
Okay. Well, now we have the echo back.
Here.
What the fuck? Nate! God damn it.
Hold on, I'm working on something here. I'm gonna turn my speakers
now I
down.
sound like high pitched and shit. Okay, I think we're good. No more echo.
How's that?
How is that? I don't know.
Sounds better.
It's a little. Yeah, it's better. Ish.
There. I'll just keep it low. I can still hear you.
Okay, good. We'll talk loudly.
No,
We'll
it's
talk
fine.
very loudly.
I can hear you guys clear. Just keep going.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead with finance.
Finance.
Yeah. I wanted to make a point out of that shots calling is a bad idea in Magic Finance. To be successful in Magic Finance, it's a grind. And your brag stories are not interesting, and you should not be going for them. So now a lot of finance people are looking at the Pro Tour and trying to speculate there. And I'm just not touching it because that's not the way finance works. That's not where you find the expected value or the hourly rate that you must also consider. So I'll include a link that about why you should not call shots in finance. I also like to say that you should absolutely not, unless you need the cards for play, now is the worst time to actually buy any Born of the Gods, because the Born of the Gods will crush. It will really, really crash for a long time. Prices for Born of the Gods and Theros will keep dropping until for 4 more months. So mid-June for buying Theros block cards, unless you need them for play. So in finance, I'm always looking for cards that can give. It's important to have goals. And I'm looking for cards that can give over 200% within 12 months. And right now, those cards come from the flashback drafts still. The flashback drafts are over, but here are some Pauper cards that are historically really low right now because of the flashback drafts. So I've been picking up Molten Rains, 15 cents, Nightscape Familiar, 15 cents, Great Furnace at 15 cents. Some cards have already gone up from the Mirrodin and Invasion drafts. Unmake looks interesting at 34 cents, and White Weenie is not a big thing in the meta, but White will come back someday. If you look at the curve for Unmake, it's a constant history of hitting one ticket and then falling down, hitting one ticket, then falling down. I have a couple of modern cards as well I'm looking at. You want to hear those?
Go for it.
Sure.
Warren Instigator used to be 10 tickets, is now 2. Oblivion Stone is maybe almost the only staple modern card that has not spiked yet. The modern is hyped right now. But Oblivion Stone is still low since the flashback drafts. Also, I like to talk about Jace the Mind Sculptor. He was recently drafted. He was in From the Vaults 20. But imagine how many people will want this guy in June when Vintage Masters is released. Everybody will be playing Vintage and Legacy. And who's the best Planeswalker in those formats? It's Jace the Mind Sculptor. You can get him for slightly above 30 or even less if you want the From the Vaults version.
Wow. Yeah. Funding, so we're gonna stay away from Jace. Yeah.
He costs a lot already, but I think he has a lot of potential. Exclude has dropped, so it's time to pick up your playsets, but it's not a speculation target. It will be hard to get 200% out of Exclude. And Prohibit. Does Prohibit really have a home anymore, Chris?
It could. The thing is, it's like the best counterspell nobody's playing right now.
Yeah, if anybody plays it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, David's playing 4 of in his Exhumed control deck. I think it's still a very good counterspell, and just right now, Exclude seems to be where the control decks want to be at the moment. I don't think by any stretch of the imagination that Prohibit's bad, and it's less than 50 cents right now. I think at the very least you get your playset.
Yes. And to see Prohibit costing 1.5 within the year doesn't seem unlikely.
No.
Also,
a lot of that depends on how many new people are adopting Pauper, how many new people want to play it and want to buy the cards for it. I think Pauper's always going to have a home, and if somebody comes up with a deck that uses Prohibits or tweaks the blue-red control deck to run a few Prohibits or something, then you start to see that price go back up because Prohibit's never been a 4 of in any deck that it's been ran. It's always been like 2, maybe 3 of max.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's always there.
Yeah.
So,
also, Cloud of Fairies is pretty low still, but it's being played a lot. So, and that's also a result of the flashback drafts.
Yeah. I think actually the Cloud of Fairies like sort of flooded the market. I don't know that the Urza's cards go back up in value. Because like all these commons, like just people got them all. And
no, but it's happened before. It's not the first time Urza block is drafted, so it'll take a couple of months, but then prices are back up. If the card has a home, and Cloud of Fairies seems to have a home. Just look at the curve for those cards that it was sold. It was down to 2 tickets back in December 2012 when Urza was drafted, but then it went to 10.
Yeah, it went to 10 whenever it was in Fisher Post too. So
it's still being played in two good decks right now in the format, and it's still a broken card.
Yeah, I think unfortunately though, when it was like that, you had hundreds of people playing these daily events, and I have my doubts about popular speculation in general because of just the small amount of people who play in premier events. We saw the biggest premier event fire since like the return of premier events back in early January.
Yep.
And that was this weekend. I think it fired with 44 people, and that was I was pretty impressed to see that many people fire the event.
Yeah. I had those fears 1-2 months back, but I don't have those fears anymore because it seems to every card is behaving like it should. Like the flashback draft cards have gone up. Demand seems to be there, so it must be casual if nothing else.
Yeah, I think there's some people who have barrier to standard format problems who they are still gonna play Pauper. I think that the days of 10-ticket Pauper cards that don't see play in any other format are done.
Yep. I think so too, absolutely. But
I don't see Cloud of Fairies. If it does go up, I don't see it going up past 3 or 4. Really?
Yeah, I could see it being 6 again.
I don't think so. I think there's the people who are playing Pauper they either already have their Cloud of Fairies, or I don't think the demand is there to raise Pauper prices that much anymore.
I think
that's why I think you haven't seen Snaps and Unearth and whatever go up.
But Unearth has gone up a lot.
Yeah, it was down to I think whatever without. I'm not a price finance guru or whatever, but I think that was just price correction. Is that what it's called? Where it's it should have been this price all along, but
it hit the 200% in 2 weeks after it was flashback drafted, and right now it's up 350% since the flashback drafts.
Yeah,
that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying that Cloud of Fairies is the best card to get, but I think it won't get much lower. I would definitely look for the cards that are in Modern as well. So, Molten Rains, also been picking up a lot of Darksteel Citadels at about 35 cents.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually not bad at 35 cents.
I have a long list of stuff that should be sold right now, but it's all modern stuff and legacy stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm skipping that. If anybody's interested, check out my YouTube channel, Magic Gathering Strat, where I have the weekly finance tips episode 7. I'm looking at the show notes for that right now. I also like to mention then that I will be away for 3 episodes. So I will be back on March the 17th, because I'm going away on a romantic getaway to Thailand with my wife.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're going to stay in a really nice hotel right above where the tsunami hit Phuket. So nice. we have a jacuzzi on our balcony, so if the tsunami comes back, we have a front view, so we'll sit there and sip our drinks and watch people drown.
That's always fun.
That sounds morbid as hell.
Brennan will be here next week.
Yes, that's the other thing in news I was going to mention. We are going to have Brandon on next week before you go off to...
No, I'll be going off now, so...
Oh, so we're going to just have Brendan and not you?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
So the standard Pauper Gauntlet starts on Monday, on the 24th of February.
That's cool.
And I bet Brennan has a lot to say about that next week.
Yeah, could you send me his contact when we're done here so I can get that?
Yes.
Contact info?
Yeah.
Okay. Rage of the week. Couldn't find anything. That's pretty quiet right now.
Yeah.
People aren't getting as angry, so...
Sad state of affairs.
Does that mean that people are getting nicer?
Probably not.
No, not at all.
They're just silently raging at home to nothing.
But that's good.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's very good for the game.
What else do I got here for news? Conspiracy releases this summer. I'm guessing this conspiracy release is probably on the back of the fact that they messed up and they messed up and accidentally put a card in a pack. Cat's out of the bag, so Wizards decided to just let it out because there's really nothing they can do about it.
That's the conspiracy that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
I think this is their attempt at viral marketing and it's failing because I don't care.
Yeah. Other than that, shout-outs in email. A few shout-outs. Went to con this weekend, obviously. A lot of people knew about that last week. I got in contact with quite a few gaming companies. We got a local one in St. Cloud here called Prolific Games. They have a bunch of games on their Kickstarter that they're doing. They have some pretty cool games. I'm signed up now as a game tester because I'm in their area as they put new projects out to just test games out for them. They have a really cool line of games that aren't normal. Their two big ones out right now it's called Flapjacks and Sasquatches. It's a really funny game where you're trying to gain flapjacks and Sasquatches are stealing them. It's a really, really stupid fun game.
That sounds like something you would enjoy.
Yeah. And then they have another one called The Hirelings, which is like they're poking fun at D&D. So that's pretty interesting. Kind of want to give them a shout out. Just check out what their projects are on Kickstarter. They have pretty cool stuff. They're really nice people. Another one here, Man the Bridge is another event I did. It's a team building type of exercise thing where, but it's also a game that a group's trying to put out. They put you in a setting of like Star Trek, and you're actually controlling one of the bridge stations on a starship, and you're actually just on a makeshift bridge and sharing a view screen with everybody. Basically, they have a room that has a projector, and they have these iPads hooked up, and you're like, if you're on weapons, you're only in control of weapons, and you're just going through a simulator. It's a big simulator, like being on a starship. It's kind of cool. Had a lot of fun with that. My ship got blown up twice, but it was a lot of fun. Kind of shout out them. And for those that we haven't had Grant Champion on in a while, I'd like to get him back on. So if Grant, you're listening to this, need to get a hold of me. Grant Champion is back and streaming again.
Come back to us too, Grant.
Yes. So hopefully we can get him on here. And but if you have a chance to check out his channel, because he's streaming again, so it's pretty sweet.
Wait, you know what? He's still mad at us for losing the episode where he was on.
No. No, he's not mad. And then again, Mikey K, one of our past alumni co-hosts, he's streaming too. He gets on and streams. He's still streaming. So yeah, check those guys out, and just check out their channel.
Are they both streaming exclusively Pauper?
They stream everything. They do some Pauper. They get on and do some Pauper, but it's usually makeshift what they feel like streaming at the time. So, But yeah, they stream everything. I've actually watched a few of Grant Champion's Kingdom Hearts streams. That's pretty funny because he has if he's not streaming Pauper, he'll do I think one time he called it Drunken Kingdom Hearts. That was hilarious to watch him stream that then.
You can Drunken Kingdom Hearts is the same as regular Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is just a mash button game anyway, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're out there streaming. Kind of check them out. But before we go, how can they get a hold of you, Chris?
I know there was something else I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was now. It's pretty awful. Okay, well, I'm just gonna shout out. Oh wait, I want to do a shout out.
Go for it.
I want to do a shout out. Hold on. I'm still trying to think of the shout
Okay.
out. It's coming. Dan, do your contact info thing.
Okay, I can do shout-outs. Shout-out to everyone who has been doing Born of the Gods videos on Magic Gathering Strat. I can't remember all of you, but there are plenty of Born of the Gods videos on Magic Gathering Strat. Shout-out to Just Another Magic podcast. I was on that 7 hours ago, and that was a lot of fun. They were celebrating a year of podcasting.
That's pretty sweet.
If you want to reach me, you can find me on YouTube at Magic Gathering Strat, and you can find me on the Pauper to the People forums as Sissela. I'm also on MTGOstrat.com.
Cool.
Okay, I remembered. All right, so here's my shout out. I need more decks to showcase for Pure MTGO. So if you guys have decks, if you have a brew, if you have a Tribal Zombies deck you want me to try, I need deck lists. Ship me over deck lists. You can do that. I actually do it to my personal email, cweaver8518@yahoo.com. You can also tweet me if you forget that. My Twitter is at cweaver8518. I wanted to shout out to Exelon Company, who did my job interview for me last week. It was a great experience going out to Illinois, no matter how freaking cold it was out there. I got to see some awesome sights, but Illinois was like -2 degrees when I landed. So, but hopefully I'll get this job there, and if I do, if you're in the greater Chicago area, I will be around, and you'll have to hook me up and let me know where the good game stores are. Maybe I'll have a not crappy LGS that I can play Magic at.
Yeah.
So, there we go. I think that's about it. Also on Magic Online, you can contact me. My name is Cweaver on there.
Okay.
Chris, I love to see.
Uh-oh.